Hola, everyone. Good to see you guys. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you in the flight sim world. And hello, great to have you guys here. So today we're here in Brazil. Today we're in Rio de Janeiro today, one of Brazil's most iconic and most beautiful cities. And we're right here at Santo Tomas Airport today, Sierra Bravo Romeo Juliet. And I got a really beautiful scenic flight around this area of the world. We're gonna fly from Rio to Sao Paulo today, but we're gonna take the more scenic route through that part of Brazil. And I hope you guys are gonna enjoy this flight. I'm on Southeast Asia server if you guys want to join in. But yeah, we have a really cool flight for us. Before we get started, I want to say hello in the chat. We have Super Typhon. Hola, my friend. We have one of our moderators in chat, Alec D, as well as Tripwire and Whack-A-Mole are lurking around. Good to have you guys here too. So we actually have a simple flight plan today. We're gonna go ahead. Hello, good to have you here. And Ewald, hello. Working, no worries. Just wanted to say hello to you guys as well. So our flight plan, we're going to take off from Santo Tomas Airport. We'll be checking out a little bit of downtown Rio de Janeiro, which includes some of the area's very famous beaches, as well as visiting some of the South Sebastian Cathedral, visit much of the port, and of course visiting the famous Maracanã, a very famous hollow football ground in Brazil, home to the site of the infamous game back in 1950. Then we're going to, of course, visit Cristo Redentor, the Christ the Redeemer statue. We'll take a few pictures. Then from here, we'll follow the Brazilian coast all the way down and through Ilha Grande to our first stop here at Sierra Delta Alpha Golf. We'll be checking around the beautiful areas around here from the coast. Then we fall down the coast over the mountain to our second stop, Ubatuba Airport. And then we continue down to São Sebastião, to Barra de Una, keep following the waypoints, fly over the city of Santos, fly through some of the beaches, and then from there we'll head straight up into Brazil's largest city of Sao Paulo. It's just right outside of the capital if you guys wanted to for a bit, and we're gonna make our landing here at Congonhas International Airport. Sierra Bravo Sierra Papa for our final stop of the day. So we got a pretty cool city tour event from Rio to Sao Paulo. It's considered by many to be Brazil's most important, fastest air route, but we're going to do it in a more scenic GA focus flight. So the plane we're taking today is, of course, the Piper Arrow, but it's not just any Piper Arrow. This is actually November 6318 Romeo. Yes, this is actually the livery that fellow streamer and a great friend actually flies. And yeah, this is Foxtrot's livery. I have his installed. So I want to take this. I asked Fox to borrow the plane, and I decided he said yes. So I'll take it down to Rio de Janeiro today. So yeah, now his dad's plane is actually a Piper Cherokee. It's a Cherokee as well. But since there's no Cherokee normal way, so he just made it into an Arrow. So we have that in the sim. It's his dad's plane. Pretty important to him, so I'm gonna have to take good care of it, okay? But yeah, the Piper Arrow, this is Piper's equivalent to the Cessna 172. Over 32,000 of these things have been built since 1961. And it is such an iconic plane. There's multiple different variants. There's the normal Piper Arrows, but there's also the Warriors, which is fixed wing, and even the Mighty Turbo Arrow, which is their equivalent of the Bonanza. The Turbo Arrow goes quite fast, but we're flying the normal Arrow as well, which the normal Arrow could go around 135 knots, range of over 600 nautical miles. Very, very capable plane. Oh yeah, and they're definitely good looking planes. And this is from Just Flight. This was one of the original high quality GA planes in the sim. So I haven't taken this thing in quite a long while. So it's a bit of a while since I last started this thing. but it's still a beautiful plane. It still is an absolutely awesome plane. It's still one of my favorite GAs in the sim. You still have your doors, you still have your battery. I'm gonna go ahead and like I said, this is my first time starting this thing in quite some time. So add color. I'm gonna add turn on the master switch on this. Battery all, fuel pump on. Turn that on. So go ahead and turn the thing on. Okay, everything's good. Yeah, this has got the GNS from working titles. Fuel select is on the left. You got that? Yep, the fuel select is on your left hand side. Got that one right. I set it to auto. I set the fuel thing to auto fuel select, so it's automatically got the fuel selected. Alex. And the tie downs, so I got them moved. So okay, we're getting back to the air a little bit. So a bit of information about Rio Santo Tomas Airport. This is one of the two major airports here in Rio. This one's actually the older of the two, opened back in April 10th, 1936. Originally known as Calabuco Airport, but it was named after Brazilian aviation legend Alberto Dumont, who was one of the big major aviation people at his era. And its first commercial flight was back in November 30th, 1936, when the BASP flew their Junkers J-52 from Sao Paulo, Congonhas Airport. And this airport's gone through quite a few interesting changes as well since the time. And it became the main international airport all the way to Galileo Airport in 1952, but it's become the main domestic airport. And mainly it handles both GA and small medium haul domestic air traffic. And this airport is still very famous for having the shortest runways on which some of Boeing and Airbus planes can land. As remember, this airport's about the runway is around 4,300 feet long. Yes, that's really short for a runway. 4,300 feet is really, really short. And this airport's also famous for its approach as well. It has one of the most scenic and beautiful and most difficult approaches of any of the major airports in South America, especially on runway 02, which you have to go through Sugarloaf Mountain and navigate through the mountains. And I've done this approach many times. In fact, I might be able to show it off at some point on stream, and I'll show you that approach. But it's a very beautiful approach into there. Currently, right now, it has destinations to many Brazilian destinations, including Brasilia, Rio, Brasilia, Sao Paulo, Campinas, Recife, and more are all major domestic destinations for Brazil. So very, very important area of Brazil. Now we do have a hub in Brazil, but it's not Santos Dumont. Our main Brazilian hub is actually the larger Galeão Airport. That's actually one of our Firefly Air hubs. And I mean, it's obviously why we had to pick that one as our hub, considering it's a much larger airport with more forgiving runway. And that's Brazil's largest airport, and that serves most international destinations in Brazil. This is Rio's main international airport. So, very, very important area for sure. But yeah, I can't wait for this area to get a world update. I would love to see what they did do for Rio de Janeiro. Hey, Tabletop Android, good to have you here. I hope you're doing well, my friend. But great to have you. We're here. I'm just waiting for taking off here. So we're gonna go ahead and get this thing taken off for a bit. I'm gonna wait for everyone else to get in air. It's the Just Flight Piper Arrow 3 is what I'm flying today, Tabletop. Sorry about that. I had to readjust the MSFS volume, and I had to fix something. So some okay, sorry. So we're flying over Rio today. Rio is actually the capital of the state of Rio de Janeiro, the third most populous state in Brazil. It is actually the second most populous city in the country after Sao Paulo. It's a global level city, and it is the sixth most populous city in all the Americas. And this area was founded back in 1565 by the Portuguese, actually. Originally was the seat of the captaincy of Rio, but then it became the capital of Brazil, in the state of Brazil, in 1763. And it remained the capital of the Brazilian monarchy until 1889. And in fact, it used to be the capital of Brazil until 1960, actually, when it was moved to Brasilia. But Rio de Janeiro is still one of the most popular cities in the entire southern hemisphere. Known for its natural settings, carnival beaches, tons of beaches, music, and very rich culture. It's also got the beautiful Sugarloaf Mountain and the statue of Christ the Redeemer as well. And it's home to one of the world's largest football stadiums, Maracana Stadium. And Rio is also the host of both the 1950 and 2014 FIFA World Cups, and it even hosted the 2016 Summer Olympics to make it the first South American city to host the Olympics. So Rio de Janeiro is an absolutely beautiful city, and it is just stunning. Absolutely one of the more beautiful in all South America. Just a really cool place. I would love to check out Rio. But yeah, Rio de Janeiro, very beautiful area. One of the major issues though in Rio is definitely the rich and poor. Like there's lots of favelas all over this part of Brazil. There are favelas where most of the population actually lives in the favelas in Rio. There's also lots of violence issues in the city. So that's definitely a pretty big issue for Rio de Janeiro. But I mean, the area is so rich in culture. And I mean, you can't go wrong with Rio's beaches, mountains. So yeah, I hope you guys are doing well on this Friday. We're just touring around Rio de Janeiro. So, now I know it's not shown a photogrammetry, it doesn't have any modeling, but that big circle thing right over here is actually Brazil's largest stadium, Maracana. This stadium was actually built way back in 1948 with a seating capacity of around 78,000. But the record attendance of this, you would never believe how many people had the record attendance for the stadium. The record attendance happened on July 16, 1950, with an attendance between 199,000 to 210,000 people attended the game. But that date was among the most infamous dates in Brazilian football history. And I think you guys probably know what I'm getting at. Yes, that's because that was the World Cup match between Uruguay and Brazil during the final stage of the 1950 FIFA World Cup. And during the final match as well, and Uruguay actually won that game during the match. And Uruguay actually managed to get the goal in the 79th minute by Alcides Gahigia. And when he hit that goal, it actually haunted the Brazilians for years when they faced Uruguay. And a lot of Brazilians thought that Brazil won the championship, and turned out it wasn't the case. It was Uruguay winning. And in fact, the shock of the loss was so bad that the entire stadium was completely silent. And in fact, it was so shocking that 2 Brazilian fans actually committed suicide, and many more in the next couple of days. Yes, I mean, you get my point. Like, that's just odd. But in fact, the loss also led to Brazil changing their shirts from white to yellow. And they have been used ever since. So, yeah. But, yeah. That stadium has been hosted many events, but not just for the World Cup, but also for Brazil's other stuff. Yeah. Just bits of interesting aviation history as well. Hey, good to see you, Kingsman. Welcome on in. Sao Paulo's Chopper Central. Yes, Sao Paulo's really into that. Okay, so now we're going to visit the Christ the Redeemer statue, Christ the Redentor. So this statue was actually built all the way back in the 1920s, actually. But the idea of such a thing was actually mentioned in the 1850s. This structure was actually created by French sculptor Paul Leninowski and built by Brazilian engineer Heitor da Silva Costa, with collaboration with French engineer Albert Picot, with the face being sculpted by Romanian sculptor George Leonid. And it was constructed between 1922 and 1931. The statue is 98 feet high, excluding its 8-meter pedestal, with the arms stretched 92 feet wide, and made of reinforced concrete and a unique type of stone, soapstone, actually. The statue weighs 635 metric tons and is located at the peak of the Corcovado Mountain. And as a result, it has been a UNESCO World Heritage Site, one of the new summer wonders of the world, and a National Heritage of Brazil. But they did a lot of restoration stuff during the 2010s. And they did restoration by removing fungi and other organisms using all that sort of stuff. And maintenance work has to be a constant for this statue because of the wind and erosion. But Christ the Redeemer, though, is still one of the major landmarks of Brazil. In fact, we're going to go ahead and here it is, guys. There's the Christ the Redeemer statue to our right. Oh goodness, you got a lot going on. Yep. Christ the Matricist. I mean, I don't want to get too religious, but yeah, he took a lot of lashes and all that during, if you ever read anything about the Bible. Beautiful statue. But yeah, Rio is absolutely beautiful. And the approach to Santo Tomas is one of my absolute favorite approaches. Let me go ahead and grab my heading. Turn on autopilot switch. And I'm going to turn on the heading switch, so. Yeah, they don't typically fly over the mountains. They fly below 3,000 to 1,500 feet minimum. Correct. That would be a great screenshot. Oh yeah, that is a great screenshot. In fact, I actually have it here in the Discord. I'll post them after stream. In fact, if you guys want to check out my Discord, here it is. And if you like the content and haven't followed the channel, I think it'd be a great time to support by smashing that follow button. So our main altitude is going to be around 4,000 feet for this leg. Around 4,500 feet. There's Whack-A-Mo here. Great to see you, Whack-A-Mo. Yeah, Rio de Janeiro is absolutely awesome. In fact, I do love flying over this area here. Especially the airliner, doing the Santo Tomas approach is absolutely pretty. Though a very tricky approach. Okay, go ahead. Okay, 4,200 feet. That's pretty. There we go, guys. So yeah, we're now flying at 4,200 feet for this one. So it's great to have you guys here. We're doing it is absolutely gorgeous, Tripwire. I agree. This part of Brazil is absolutely beautiful. Right here, it's absolutely stunning. But yeah, absolutely great. I hope you guys are doing well. I know that we had the measurement release yesterday, and that's a bug. And if you weren't around yesterday, FS Reborn just previewed, not around Wednesday, they previewed the M500 Piper M500.
All the support. So we're going to be inviting.
And Merv actually showed off the preview for this plane, and this plane looks really, really good. And they really worked on the realism of this plane, including a bird strike mode, a simulated bird strike mode, as well, which is pretty cool that they have it. But they also include ground operations, like a VIP experience, like Range Rover Ferraris, and much, much more, and the audio as well. I mean, this plane is definitely going to be really good. I mean, their sting, I heard, is excellent, and this plane's going to be $32 US. But I mean, if they put that much work into the Piper, I think it's absolutely going to be worth it for you guys. I think it's going to be one of the better turboprop planes. The Maul M7 just got a new update, and they completely reworked the design, flight dynamics, and more of the Maul, and they really actually improved a lot of the plane. They also updated the EFB. They now added an EFB system instead of a clipboard. They also added both an anchor and all that. And they really updated this plane quite a bit for the Maul M7. So they actually improved this plane a lot. Which I'm definitely interested in the Maul, and I think with the new update, I think they fixed some of the major issues with that plane. So yeah, very, very excited for that one. And then obviously, Aeronautic just released the Cessna 182 retractable gear. And Allison Johnson's going to be flying this tomorrow, actually, on her stream. So she's going to show it off on that stream. Which is basically the retractable gear version of the plane that Geraldine Mock actually flew. So yeah, she's going to show it off tomorrow. That's just a bit of the news since Wednesday. Yeah, really. Yeah, Raul really sold it. I agree. The work and passion Raul's done is just awesome. He puts so much work into it, and I really respect people like what he's doing. Oh yeah, Jefferson's Angel Falls. Yes, Jefferson. I mean, if you guys don't know Jefferson, the man, myth, and legend. Yeah, Jefferson's such a great. I have his Falcon Field Airport and his Niagara Falls scenery. I have both there. I have both of this work. And I'm definitely going to probably get Angel Falls as well. Angel Falls is super. And by the way, since I now have his Niagara Falls scenery, I'm going to be visiting it on my DC3 World trip. And yes, I will update Niagara Falls so you guys can see his work in the DC. So, I can't wait to show you guys that. Very, very cool. Very, very excited for some of the new add-ons. I think I'm going to be very, very happy. So, a little bit about Brazil, some of its interesting facts and information about Brazil. It is South America's largest country in both land area and population. It's the world's 5th largest country in land area and the 7th most populous. Even though Rio and Sao Paulo are its 2 biggest cities, the capital is actually Brasilia, which is actually located more into the interior of the country. And it's the only country in the Americas to actually have Portuguese as an official language, and is among the most multicultural, ethnically diverse nations in the world due to lots of mass immigration. And, you would never believe this, it's also the most populous Roman Catholic majority country on Earth. The country is also famous for the Amazon rainforest and home to all sorts of diverse wildlife and a variety of ecological systems as well, making Brazil one of the 17 mega diverse countries of biodiversity. And yes, the Portuguese came to this island in the 1500s when explorer Pedro Alvarez Cabral discovered the land for the Portuguese, and it became a Portuguese colony until 1808, when the capital of the empire was transferred from Lisbon to Rio, and it gained independence in 1822 with the creation of Empire Brazil. Then it became a republic in 1889. As a result, because of its rich culture and history, the country ranks 13th in the world in number of UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Currently, right now, it's a regional and middle power, but it's also emerging as a developing country, and it's a very advanced emerging economy. And it's one of the members of the United Nations, G20, BRICS, and more. So Brazil has really, really grown into its own as a nation as well over the years. Very, very important. It's got a rich history. But yeah, very, very cool. And of course, Brazil's a massive tourist destination as well in the Americas. It is one of the main tourist destinations in the Americas, along with Argentina and Mexico and Latin America. And features all sorts of different options, from leisure with all the beaches and bays, to ecotourism with the Amazon and all that. You basically have something to do in Brazil whenever you go there. Absolutely just really, really cool. Absolutely just beautiful today in Rio de Janeiro. Not in Rio, but beautiful day in Brazil. I mean, look at the coast. Absolutely beautiful today as well. And we'll be flying more in the interior part of this next leg, but we'll be flying more interior. Very, very cool. So yeah, if you wonder what I've been doing since the last time since Wednesday, I've been doing more of the missions, but they have all sorts of different missions on for Firefly Air. I've been doing some passenger missions, some cargo stuff. They got something for nearly everything. So that's what I've been doing. Do more of those ad hoc missions. Just complete all sorts of different achievements and stuff. Just trying to help rack up some EXP from XP to help get ourselves the new hub. I know our goal's 4 million, but we have still got a ways to go to get the next hub. Oh. So yeah, I want to ask you guys if you guys haven't got some really cool plans for the weekend. My plan for this weekend, I got some stuff to do. I got some research work to do. For baseball stuff, I'm looking at research for an artist named Andy Drinko, who does a lot of ballparks from the 40s to 60s. He's got a lot of his artwork. So I'm trying to get a biography of him. And then on Sunday I got we got the DC-3 flight from Anchorage to Juneau, which is going to be really exciting to show off. Um, that would be really, really exciting to show off. And then next Wednesday, I'm planning on doing a airliner flight again. I'm going to be back in the 737. I think I planned it. It's a 737 flight. I believe it's an airline flight. I'm actually going to probably do this as a two-part stream, maybe. Take the Firefly Air Cessna 172 from my home airport at Kilo Juliet Victory November, and fly down to Allington Airport, where FS Expo's at. So I'm planning on maybe I'm doing something with FS Expo and do those for two streams. So I'm trying to find an airport and see where we can fly. So probably do something like that. I think that's so. Your finished stream is your last stream until Expo ends. Yep. No, I'm not going to Expo in person. I'm going to my Expo thing is virtual. I'm going to FS Expo virtually, not in person. I'm going to be virtually attending Expo, but I still want to do a flight plan in case if I wanted to go to Expo myself. So I just want to do something in theme for my trip to Expo. That's probably going to be where it is. So I want to do a 2-far flight plan to fly me to FS Expo virtually. So that's what I'm going to do. So no, it's not. I'm not going to Expo. And by the way, I don't have to pay anything for me going to FS Expo because I won it from the lane challenge contest that Murph did about over a year back. And I won the two-tone Murphy landing competition. So I won that, and that's what I'm going to be doing. So yeah, that's gonna. So I'm planning on probably doing a 2-part flight, probably in a Firefly airplane from my home airport to. Question is how would I want to do? I mean, I don't have to take the 172. I just want to take a plane with a Firefly Air livery port and just fly there. Okay, 172. I guess I could do one part in the King Air and then the other one doing it into Houston. or maybe I could take the 737 and then Friday stream with the GA. After going to Houston, I know Oshkosh is going to be around soon. The EA Adventure, I think. It's the EA. Yeah, Air Adventure is going to be in July, but maybe in July I do my home airport to Oshkosh. For my home airport. So I think that would be what I think. But I definitely want to do something with FS Expo, so. So yeah. Yeah, can't wait for the FX Expo. I know Microsoft's going to be there, which is going to be pretty surprising, but pretty awesome to see. Very, very excited for FX Expo. I wish I could go in person, but the air costs and all that probably make it pretty difficult. So, yeah, very pretty today. I mean, look at the state of this, guys. I mean, this is just beautiful, this part of Brazil. Just absolutely stunning scenery here today. I mean, just imagine this with the world update. That would be absolutely awesome to see. Sure. State looks awesome. So some pretty interesting other information about Brazil to talk about. Obviously there's actually 2,500 airports in the country, which is actually the second most of anywhere in the world. Only the United States has more airports than Brazil does. So yeah, Brazil has a ton of airports. But the largest and busiest airport in the country is actually Sao Paulo Garlahos Airport, which is actually the busiest airport in all of Brazil, and Latin America's second busiest after Mexico City. But it's a massive airport, and it's got home to all sorts of international and domestic destinations as well. But there are so many airports in there. But yeah, Brazil has also its own airlines. There's Azul Brazil, GOL Airport, which GOL Linhas Aéreas Inteligentes, which is their low cost. Then there's Latam Brazil, which is the Brazilian brand of Latam. And finally, Vopas Linhas Aéreas. Wow, they have 4 major airlines in Brazil. But yeah, as you notice, Brazil doesn't really have a flag carrier like other countries do. Yeah, pretty interesting to think about. Brazil's like the U.S. in that regard. Doesn't really have any flag carriers. we're going to go ahead and turn to the left. This is the island Ilha. It's the Ilha Grande. Definitely see some of the islands. And but yeah, it's just beautiful here. I mean, you can definitely see this area's got quite a lot of mountains and all that around the area, like little hills all across the coast. But yeah, geographically, Brazil is very diverse in it. Obviously, there's tons of rainforest. Lots of rainforest all around Brazil, including its extensive river system, which of course includes one of the world's longest rivers, the Amazon. But in addition to the Amazon, there's other rivers as well. There's the Tocantins River in the Argua basins, which among more than half the total drainage area of Brazil's. There's also the Paraguay River in the south part of the country. The Parana, São Francisco, and the Uruguay River are also other major rivers here in Brazil. And of course, Brazil's got some pretty geographic regions as well. But mainly the big one, most populous region is definitely the southeast region. It's by far the richest region in all of Brazil. A little bit about Brazil's geography, but it's definitely a very, very unique country. And of course, there's tons of biodiversity. In fact, Brazil is home to 60% of the Amazon rainforest is actually in Brazil. And that's accounted to 1 in 10 species in the world. And apparently, Brazil is also considered by many to be some of the most biodiversity of anywhere on the planet, as they calculate over 70% of all animal and plant species on the planet is cataloged in Brazil, which includes most species of plants, 55,000 species of plants, 3,000 species of freshwater fish, and over 689 species of mammals. And of course, you can't beat it in bird species. Over 1,800 bird species and 744 different reptile species are from Brazil. And there's all sorts of animals that live in this Brazil. Some of its most famous animal include the giant toucan, the many varieties of the poison dart frog, which, yes, don't touch the poison dart frogs. I'm actually serious, don't touch them. And of course, one of the most famous animals in all of Brazil, the mighty jaguar, which is the apex predator of south of Brazil. But it's home to all sorts of other species too. They include the giant anteater, the sloth, giant river otter, capybara, the world's largest rodent, the anaconda, which is described as among the largest snakes on the planet, the rhea, a flightless bird, and also the world's largest bird of prey, the harpy eagle. Brazil's got such a rich biodiversity. It's a biologist's paradise. So yeah, guys, we'll be ready to make our first landing of the trip here today. Here's Wacamo. I mean, this area is just so beautiful. I mean, when I said I was going to take the scenic route, guys, I wasn't kidding. But yeah, this is absolutely the scenic route for today's. Yeah, what a place. Yeah. This part of Brazil is some of the most beautiful in the country. So we're going to go ahead and make our land, but we're going to take the scenic landing. We're going to land at Sierra Delta Alpha Golf is our landing spot. I'm going to take the scenic approach. This airport is Angra do Reis Airport, named after a local entrepreneur back in the day, commissioned in 1979. Runway 1028 is around 3,000 feet long. And this place was actually first documented by Europeans on January 6, 1502, and it's permanently settled here since 1556. And Angra do Reis is actually a population around 210,000 people live here. A little bit. Hey, Dougal McTavish, great to see you, Dougal. Good to see ya. Okay, most of our island is pretty flat, though. I got several beaches. Ah, nice. But yeah, great to see you, Dougal. We're actually in Brazil right now. We're making our first stop here at Sierra Delta Alpha Golf. We're flying from Rio to Sao Paulo today, but I decided to take the scenic route today through the coast. In this part of Brazil. Yeah. Yes. The wind noises, I try to get rid of them, they're still there. Yeah, we're making our first landing of the day. Like I said, this area is absolutely stunning scenery here. Absolutely, Dougal. Brazil has a great place to fly for sure. Yeah. Brazil absolutely has some great places to fly for sure. I mean, obviously there's there in Santa, like the area we're flying to is going to be absolutely beautiful, but I mean, there's plenty of other places. There's obviously the whole Amazon, would definitely be the world's largest river system. And of course, there's also plenty of other more mountainous regions across the country worth exploring. And of course, there's going to be Angel Falls coming soon from Jefferson as well. There's also Gazu Falls too, which is pretty nice as well. So. Oh yeah, yeah. Of course, Santo de Mont as well. That's yeah. Here it is. Our first stop here. At Sierra Delta Alpha Golf. Our first stop. Yeah. Just sitting here for just a little bit. While everyone, if you guys want to join in, I'm on Southeast Asia server. Yes, the sim sounds are a little low, but I had to turn them down for when we land because you didn't want to hear wind. If you heard our manual also model the 5 other falls. All, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Jefferson's a legend. Of course he's good. So we're gonna go to our next flight stop. And that's going to be at Sierra Delta Uniform Bravo. So we're going to actually climb a bit for this one to 5,500 feet. Going to climb a little bit higher. Climbing up through the air for quite a bit. An absolutely stunning area. And I do love doing the approach to Sandra de Mont. That's a great approach. But a very difficult one too for a variety of reasons. Number one, you have to go through Santo de Mont Airport. You have to go through for the approach in 02. Like for example, the approach to 020 isn't bad. The difficult approach is having to go through runway 02. Because for 02, you have, especially for the RNAV-W and RNAV-W approach, you'll have to go through Sugarloaf Mountain and make it through the bay to runway 02. You'll literally have to go through the bay to get through that approach, which is extremely difficult. It's extremely difficult to approach, and more importantly, you do not have much room for error because this airport only has a runway of 4,300 feet, so it's a very difficult airport to approach. Yeah. But yeah, yes, the Yarden Circle Land is so much fun. It is a lot of fun. It's just not the easiest approach because obviously rain, you have a short runway. Yeah, great approach. Zanzibar is one of my favorite approach. I mean, Brazil's definitely a great place. I can definitely see why Fabio has always been around this area for sure. And I heard in the future this place is going to get a world update, so I think it's going to be a very, very cool time to explore more Brazil. I wonder what more Brazil airports would be handcrafted. Maybe another international airport in Brazil might get handcrafted. So, there's a lot of just some speculation. In terms of other areas, I like to see world update. I know a lot of people like Brazil. I think another really cool world update. I know July is going to be the next one, and it's going to be probably be Visegrad again. Like I said earlier, Visegrad's going to be the world update. I haven't heard any more news about it since that little teaser. I'm curious to see if you're going to provide more information for it. Yes, it's raining so hard in my house, it's getting 56 decibels from the sound alone. I hope it's raining on the house and not in. Oh, it's rain when the roof comes. Gotcha. Oh. Yep. Yeah, sometimes sometimes the roof can get pretty loud when it rains. Back at my old house, at least, but not down here in the basement. At least I probably don't have to hear it. So I completely understand. So, just climbing up there to see around. I'm just going to stop. There we go. 5,300 feet should be enough. So yeah, I'm very, very excited for some of the new news and all that. But I want to go ahead and talk about some bit of one of the more interesting history about Brazilians, one of the most interesting national heroes of Brazil. I want to talk a little bit about Alberto Santos Dumont, the legendary Brazilian aeronaut, sportsman, and inventor. He was actually born as the sixth child of French engineer Henri Dumont. He was actually born in July 20th, 1873 at Palmira, located in the state of Minas Gerais. He was the sixth child of Henri Dumont, which was he was an engineer and coffee farmer. And his mother, Francisca de Paulo Santos. They actually had 8 children, family, but he was the 6th one. During his time, he lived in a family farm and settled in Cito de Cascavel, producing bushels of coffee. And then he studied college at the College Cuito e Ciência, which is the secondary school in Campinas, which is just outside of Sao Paulo, Campinas. And what he actually brought into aviation was in 1888 when he saw the first human flight in the city, when aeronaut Stanley Spencer ascended in a spherical balloon and parachuted down, and it brought him interest to mechanics especially with the combustion engine, and he searched for all sorts of alternatives for flight. And he did all sorts of researches throughout the early 1900s, and at the age of and he was already used to machinery and all that. He first started his career with mountaineering and motorsports throughout much of the 1890s. And he made his first ascent in a balloon at 400 francs, and it inspired him to be in aviation. He even created some balloons, one of which is the famous Brazil, which was actually made for Dumont, and he flew over 200 flights in that balloon. And as a result, his balloon actually gave a lot of development in other balloons and airships. As a result, and he made a great contribution to aviation back in the days of plane, and he even built a lot of airship stuff. And he used the internal combustion engine to help bring airships to life. As a result. And he even founded the Aero Club de France back in 1888. And he built quite a few airship models throughout the years. But then he decided to go into heavier air flight in 1904. And he helped build one of the first planes that have made a lot of them back in the 1903. And in fact, one of his first successful airplane machines built by Alberto Dumont was the 1414 BIS, or the Oiseau de Proel, which was his first plane that's heavier than air. And that plane's pretty interesting as well. He only built one of those built, but it was designed in a box-like kite powered by an internal engine. And apparently this thing only went as fast as 22 knots. So it was not very fast. It was important because it was one of the first planes to actually fly in the air, and he's had built a couple of experimental versions of the planes. And one of the last planes he's built was the Demoiselle, which was in 1909, and it proved to be the first ultralight in history, and 300 of those things have been built. And it was used extensively for pilot training, because lots of pilots flew on those for World War I. So, very, very popular plane back in the old days. However, during his later years, he actually showed signs of multiple sclerosis and aged in appearance and felt too tired to compete with inventions. So, after an incident, he closed down his workshop, withdrew from social life, but he still continued to popularize aviation, not just in France, but also in Brazil. And he actually enlisted in the World War as a chauffeur, actually. And he actually turned his dream into a nightmare. And then after World War I, he devoted himself to astronomy. As a result. And that lasted until his death on October 28, 1930. At the age of 59 years old. So he actually died at the age of 59, but his legacy in aviation for Brazil is still very, very massive. He's a national hero of both Brazil and France. and he played a big role in the popularity of aviation. So yeah, very important important aviation legend for sure to learn about. Yeah, very important person to learn about when you talk about aviation history of Brazil. Very important guy to learn about Brazilian history. So in terms of other things about Brazil to learn about, Brazil is also extremely rich in culture. I mean, Brazil is extremely rich mixed between indigenous culture, the Portuguese, and many various African groups create a very unique culture in Brazil, and as a result of its multi-diverse heritage. And of course, much of the core is derived from Portugal, including the language, Portuguese, the use of rice and beans, and and of course the religion and colonial architectural styles from Portugal. However, they were also influenced by African and indigenous American traditions as well as other European countries. Give Brazil something unique. And of course, the big deal for a lot of people about Brazil is Carnival, which is hosted every Friday before Ash Wednesday. And Carnival is the most popular holiday in Brazil and has become an epic event of massive proportions. In fact, in 2011, the Carnival in Rio de Janeiro drew over 4.9 million people. And the history of Carnival could be traced back to the Portuguese age of discoveries. And that's way back in the days of it as well. But they featured lots of folk music like samba and marachinha, as well as reggae and different kinds of music. And it's basically the ultimate synthesis of European, Native American, and Afro-Brazilian influence, creating a truly unique Brazilian holiday for sure. Outside of that, though, Brazil also has also a pretty fascinating cuisine as well. Of course, the national beverage is coffee, with the native liquor being distilled sugarcane, cachaça. And of course, its national cocktail, the caipirinha. Caipirinha. Of course, Brazil has a very diverse cuisine depending on which part of Brazil you enter as well. But there's all sorts of popular dishes. Rice and beans is a Brazilian tradition of rice and beans. There's also cheese bread as well, traditional Brazilian cheese bread, as well as sugarcane juice. And all that. So Brazil's got a pretty unique cuisine option as well. And then, of course, the big thing about Brazil, and of course, in talking about sports, there's one thing that rules over Brazil more than any other sports. It's football. And it's not even close. Football is massively popular in Brazil. and is home to some of the most famous icons of the sport, including Pele, who is considered by many to be one of the greatest football players of all time. And he passed away just December 29th last year at 82. But the dude was a legend as well. He played professionally since age 15. He scored over 1,200 goals in just 1,300 over 1,300 games, which is still a Guinness World Record. But he is nicknamed the King. Ole. But he helped build soccer to an international audience across the world with electrifying play and his goals. And he was actually born in Três Corações, Brazil. But the dude was a legend, and he brought Brazilian football to the pinnacle of its peak. In addition to him, there's also Ronaldo Luis Nazário de Lima, or Ronaldo Nazario, not the Ronaldo we know of. Ronaldinho and Neymar are among the most popular, well-known players of the sport. And of course, you can't forget about Brazil's national team, which is known as the Canary Squad. But they are the most successful team in the FIFA World Cup, winning it 5 times: 1958, 62, 1970, 1994, and 2002. Also, the best overall performance in the Cup with 76 wins in 114 different matches, and they only lost 19 times. And they have played in every single edition of the World Cup, which is pretty incredible. But Brazil has been super successful, and they've even won the World Cup in 4 continents: Europe, South America, and twice in North America, and even one in Asia. And Brazil football has got a proud history, with so many legendary players and everything. So, no question, Brazil is an icon. And because of its rich Brazilian football history, it is massively popular. No question. Football, especially football, is king. I'm going to go ahead and prepare for our second landing of the day. We're going to go ahead and prepare for our second landing at Sierra Delta Uniform Bravo. We got so we're going to go ahead and get But in addition to football, basketball, volleyball, and auto racing also attract large audiences. And there have been multiple Brazilians as well. They also developed their own martial arts, capoeira, which is unique for their martial arts. And Brazil is also home to some pretty famous Formula One drivers, including Emerson Fittipaldi in 1972-74. Nelson Piquet won the Formula One World Cup 3 times in 1981, 1983, and 1987, and the famous Ayrton Senna in 1998, 1990, and 91. Brazil has brought a lot of athletic stars into the spotlight. So, Brazil absolutely is definitely a sport powerhouse in South America. One of some very famous people. So we're going to go ahead and make for our second landing of the day. We got one more stop afterwards, and we'll make our way to Sao Paulo. So we're going to go ahead and enjoy ourselves. We still have Whack-A-Mole with us. Yep, we've now landed here. This is Sierra Delta Uniform Bravo. Again, another beautiful airport here. So if you guys want to join in still on the last leg, we're on Southeast Asia server. Here's the info. Here it is. Here is our next airport. So, another beautiful airport to land at. So we still have one final leg to get through, guys. So we're going to be heading to Sao Paulo. So for this one, we're going to climb up to 4,000 feet. So we're going to climb 4,000 feet for this one. So yeah, we're going to be heading down to Sao Paulo, actually. This will be the last leg of the journey. Our final leg. So we're going to head to Sao Paulo. So Sao Paulo, this is actually the largest city in all of Brazil. Population of Sao Paulo is actually 12 million people. 12.4 million people live in Sao Paulo's urban area. But if you count its metropolitan area, it actually goes all the way to 22 million people live in the metropolitan area of Sao Paulo. And it's actually the most populous city in all of the Americas, and along with the Western Hemisphere and the Southern Hemisphere. And it's actually also the world's fourth most populous city. Yes, the only cities more populous are Tokyo, Delhi, and Shanghai, and those are all in Asia, which is pretty crazy to think about. Yeah, Sao Paulo is a massive metropolis. It's also the largest Portuguese-speaking city in the world. In the city, the name of the city honors the apostle Saint Paul Tarsus, or Saint Paul the Apostle. It has the largest economy by GDP in Latin America. It's home to its own stock exchange. It is an international destination to many different events, like the Sao Paulo Jazz Festival, Brazilian Grand Prix, and the ATP Brazil Open. There we go. Breaks. So, Sao Paulo has got a long history. It was founded in the colonial period in 1554 with the Portuguese village of Sao Paulo de Campos de Piratininga, founded by Jesuit college priest, and it continued over the centuries. Originally, Sao Paulo was actually developed as a poor village. However, it really grew during the 17th century. By the 18th century, by the Bandeirantes, fortune hunters, and they quickly found gold in the region. And once they had gold, Sao Paulo quickly developed its way to become one of the most important cities in all of Brazil. And Sao Paulo continued to grow even further during the 19th and 20th centuries, where it really has grown to the modern day. As a result. But yeah, Sao Paulo is a massive city in itself. I mean, who would expect a city of over 12 million people? But Sao Paulo is one of the major urban areas in all of Latin America. And there's all sorts of different urban fabrics there across Sao Paulo's urban area, for sure. So we'll get there near Fords as well. Very, very big. It's a very busy city. It's got a lot of very, very big city as well. Definitely a place. So yeah, guys, I hope you guys have some really cool plans for the weekend. I'm going to be going ahead and getting ready for Sunday's flight into Anchorage to Juneau. That flight is going to be a pretty long. It's going to be not as long as the last stream. Well, this one's going to be 678 nautical miles. So we're going to be flying across much of Alaska. So we're going to definitely have some very enjoyable flying across the southern coast of Alaska. Expect plenty of beautiful fjords and other landmarks across Alaska. On Sunday, Monday's flight is and then on Wednesday, we're gonna be planning on taking the 737 BBJ from my home airport in Clark Regional, Indiana, and we'll make our way over to Ellington Airport. So we'll be doing that for next Wednesday. So we got a pretty cool flight coming up for the next couple streams. And as for the next GA flight, I think for the next GA flight, I'm probably planning, good question. What am I thinking about plans for the next, I'll let you guys know on next Friday when that stream's going to be. But it's going to be a pretty fun one as well, so I'll let you guys know. If you guys want to check out my Discord, I have the Discord channel linked in the chat for you guys in the Discord. There's at least Platypus 7 with us. There's Whack-A-Mole. Oh, there's Firehands 59. Good to see you, Firehands. I see you there in the F-35. Nice to see you here. There's Whack-A-Mole. There's at least Platypus as well. So welcome on in, Firehands9. I hope you're doing well. So thanks for coming along on the escort mission with me. I see you there. But yeah, this area of Brazil is really scenic. Beautiful area for sure. This is a great area of the world, for sure. Beautiful area today. Unfortunately, I don't have the F-35, unfortunately. So we're going to head forward, and we're going to hopefully make our way to Santos beforehand. Is the city of Santos, which is a very popular beach destination for sure. Of course, in terms of some notable people, Sao Paulo is home to quite a few very famous Brazilians. There's all sorts of very famous people. And some of these guys include the famous race car driver, Ayrton Senna. Ayrton Senna. Ayrton Senna, one of the most famous race car drivers of all time. We have TV's presenter Luciana Gimenez. You have top model Gian Albertoni, former F1 driver Felipe Massa, and cartoonist Mauricio de Sousa are some people from Sao Paulo. Yeah, beautiful area today in this Brazil. I'd like to visit this part of Brazil. It's definitely a very pretty area. This area is great, and I'm really enjoying the Just Flight Arrow. It's been great since the updates. The updates really have added a lot to this plane for sure. Oh yeah, and they also added other stuff. I know they added aircraft stuff, but you can actually add notes. Top of the setting, there's a calendar setting. Look at this. They even added a map for the EFB as well. So here's the EFB map. So you can see where we're at. Look at this. Yeah. Here's a checklist. Here's all sorts of different checklists. The SimBrief OFP and more. There's all sorts of stuff. There's even navgraph charts, but I don't have access to those. So. Of course I can't. So I just have to apply this thing manually for sure. But yeah, we have Least Platypus ahead of us. We have Whack-A-Mole as well. Thank you so much, Whack-A-Mole, for joining on the journey today. Absolutely beautiful today. Coast looks absolutely stunning today. Look at the coast. The state of this coast is just absolutely amazing today. So if you guys just came here into the channel today, we took off about 2 hours ago from Rio de Janeiro, Sierra Bravo Romeo Juliet from Santo Dumont Airports, and we got to explore quite a bit of downtown Rio, including the Christ the Redeemer, and we went down through the coast into a couple of airports throughout the coast as well. Now we're heading our way over to Santos before we turn right into Sao Paulo, around the Sao Paulo metropolitan area. So we're just doing a pretty scenic flight that's usually done by an airliner, but I wanted to take the more scenic approach. So, but it's great to have all you guys here in the chat on this Friday stream to relax for the day. I do appreciate everyone here as always. So I do have my Discord here in the link. If you guys haven't followed my channel and are enjoying this content, I have that follow button. You can smash that follow button and help support the channel. Currently on a follower goal, I'm trying to reach 700 followers for my follower goal. So I think it'd be really cool if someone can help me reach that goal with the channel. I do StreamWorks every single Wednesday, Friday, and Sundays. So we're going to reach our way into Santos. Before we reach Sao Paulo, we're going to be flying over Santos, which was founded in 1546 by Portuguese nobleman Brás Cubas, located in the island on the island of São Vicente. Population around 433,000, and it's home to the Coffee Museum, where at one point the World Coffee Prizes were negotiated there. There's also a football memorial dedicated to the city's greatest players. And it's home to the largest beachfront garden in the world, which is around 5,335 meters in length. And it's a very popular tourist destination, of course, for its beaches. All sorts of beaches around the area, as well as some beautiful areas as well. And one of its famous notable people is Neymar, who played for Santos FC during his brief career before he went to FC Barcelona and Paris Saint-Germain. Well, he's one of the world's most famous football. The rain's back. Super Typhoon. So, yeah, it's great to have you here again, everyone. Yeah. So, if you guys never flew to Sao Paulo in the sim, it is absolutely massive. There are tall buildings everywhere in Sao Paulo. Pretty crazy to see how many tall structures, and as a result, because of those tall structures, some of the places to land might be pretty difficult. Hey, good to see you, Boozy Sheep. What's up, my friend? Good to see you, Boozy Sheep. I hope you're doing well. Yep. I'm in Brazil right now. We took off from Rio about almost 2 hours back from Rio, and we went up through the southeast coast. We're heading to Sao Paulo now, so we're just gonna do some beautiful flying here across this part of Brazil. Check out Boozy Sheep's channel, by the way. Another good friend of the channel. He's another flight sim stream content creator. Makes some really fun GA content. For right now, I'm going to go through the coast So yeah, flying the Piper Arrow today. Um, hey, we have a follower from Just Yellow Jacket. Good to see you, Just Yellow Jacket. Thank you for the follow, my friend. Welcome on in. Welcome on to the Snake Pit, guys. So that's what we're doing here. What plane is this? The plane. Um, our plane here is the Just Flight Turbo Arrow. This particular livery is actually not part of the main plane. This is actually November 6318 Romeo. Um, this is actually Foxtrot's. This is the plane that Foxtrot's dad actually flew. I told Flox I could borrow the November 168 Romeo, so I told him I like the livery. It's an absolutely pretty one that his dad made. It's a beautiful livery and a beautiful plane too. So absolutely beautiful flying conditions today. So right in front of us is Santos, actually. That's going to be what's in front of us today. But yeah. So for a lot of us, so overall though, I'm really do enjoying this today. Um, so so yeah, I don't think I'm gonna make it in time for Kaharia's stream today. She's gonna be streaming for Murphy today, as if you guys know, I'm part of the first community in the team. So Kaharia's gonna be streaming at 3 o'clock today. Unfortunately, 1900 Zulu. So I'm not gonna get there in time. So unfortunately, but we'll find someone really good to raid. But yeah, guys. I hope you guys are excited as much as the DC-3 flies I am. I'm very excited to fly in the DC-3 once again. Across Alaska. I mean, it's gonna be beautiful, Alaska, when we fly down there. And like I said, I can't wait till we finally get to the interior of the United States. To flying the West Coast, East. So here's the city of Santos, everyone. Absolutely beautiful today. This is the city of Santos. Pretty cool city. Well, yeah, there's all sorts of different tours around Brazil I'm looking at. There's helicopter flights, jeep tours of the rainforest. Hey, Garia. No worries for the shout out, my dear. Um, there's the Sea of Santos down to below us. Now we're gonna finally head our way to Sao Paulo right now. So, Sao Paulo, we're gonna be visiting Congonhas Airport. Sao Paulo Congonhas Airport. Sierra Bravo Sierra Papa. It's actually one of the 4 commercial airports serving Sao Paulo, but this is actually among the oldest ones. Opened in April 12th, 1936. Named after it's named after the area of Congonhas. This airport was originally planned in 1919, but it didn't open up until 1936. At the time, the site was actually built outside of a built urban area due to its favorable winds and lay on the high hill. and it starts services with Rio de Janeiro, which becomes one of the world's busiest air routes in the world. And by 1957, it was also among the world's busiest cargo airports. And it served international flights in Sao Paulo, which included planes like the Constellations, Douglas DC-6 and 7s, and even early jets like the Convair 880, Boeing 707, and Douglas DC-8s. However, this airport remained the main international airport until 1985 when the opening of Garlos Airport opened. And the reason they opened that airport was because the runways at Congonhas Airport were kind of short, and as a result, you couldn't accommodate most long-haul planes. So they opened the Garlos Airport to handle those larger planes. However, this airport is still extremely important for the short, medium-haul domestic flights that are still common around Brazil. However, one of the major issues that the airport still faces is congestion problems. Not only is there a lot of passengers and operations slow in here, but also this area has been grown up a lot. And as a result, they couldn't really extend the runways of the airport because of the city's extremely rapid growth. Also, the airport has had trouble with slippery runways, and one of those was in 2007 when TAM Airlines Flight 3054 crashed. So slippery runways are still an issue, and also with restrictions on lane slots and all that. As a result, the airport has its own issues. Currently, right now, the largest planes that operate here at the airport are the A320 and Boeing 737-800. In terms of destinations, they fly domestic routes, including Brasilia, Rio Santo do Monte, Natal Airport, and much more all around Brazil. They fly basically anywhere around the domestic area of Brazil. It's pretty crazy as well. Watch out for 109s. Will do. But yeah, great to have you guys here. So this is going to be the final leg of the trip. Since we're about getting close to landing, why don't we do some lane predictions, guys? Exclamation point predict, and we're gonna do our lane predictions for our final for this evening. But yeah, but the Rio from Santo Tomas to Congonhas Airport route is the busiest in all of Brazil. Almost 3 million passengers in 2022 flew this route per year, which is insane. But it shows that this is a very popular route as an air shuttle service. That's why a lot of people do, that's why one of these days I'm going to do an airline route between Congonhas and Dumont. And I can show you guys how to both land and take off at those two airports. Really cool little stream in the future. If you guys want to see that actually happen. Hey, Bomber! Good to see you, Bomber 1. I hope you're doing well. That's where I'm planning on going, MSFS official. That's where I'm planning on going, my friend. Right in their stream. But yeah, the Rio Sao Paulo is one of the big air shuttles in the world. And Molo Airlines fly this route every single day. Fine. Yeah, very, very cool. I'm doing very, very well, Balmer. We're about wrapping up our final leg of the journey. We're about to make our way to the outskirts of Sao Paulo. We had a pretty beautiful scenic route across the southern coast of Rio de Janeiro on the southeast coast of Brazil. Just an absolutely beautiful coast. It was definitely a very scenic. Yeah, you can see just how developed this is. All of this is part of one metropolis. So we're just gonna land here on runway 35 left is gonna be where we land here today. I'm gonna land 3 right because that's where the GA airport, GA lane spot's gonna be located. But yeah, you can see there are buildings everywhere in this part of Sao Paulo. There are buildings everywhere. So. Oh, you see me, huh? See you, Viper. See you later there, Balmer. I hope you're having a good day. I hope you have a great rest of the day. So here it is, guys. Okay. Here it is. See how much built up this area was? Mind you, back when they built this airport, it wasn't really built up at all. But because of the decades of how much people grew up in Sao Paulo, it surrounded the airport. That's why it can't really expand very much. Like the smaller airlines like the A320 can do just fine, but not something like. Sorry about that loud noise, guys. I'm trying to suppress the wind. No, I don't have FS Realistic. Not with me. Yeah, great landing. Thanks, Typhon. Where's the taxi? Yeah, guys, we did it. We made our way into Sao Paulo Congonhas Airport. Everyone? Beautiful. Hello. All right, guys, we did it. We made our way into Sao Paulo, everyone. Thank you guys so much for coming on to today's stream. I hope I see you guys on Sunday. We'll be back Sunday for another round of our DC-3 Around the World flight. As we make our way from Anchorage into Juneau, Alaska, we'll be one step closer to making our way to the continental United States. So thank you guys so much for coming along on today's trip. We're gonna rate MSFS official today. Thanks for flying along with me, Whack-A-Mo. I hope you enjoyed the flight as much as I did. So yeah, see you guys on Sunday, everyone, at 1400 Zulu, guys. Stick around for the raid for MSFS official. They're doing another one of their community flights. And he's in the Dark Star this time, so this week. Okay? So take care, everyone, and have a great rest of your Friday, and have a great weekend. Bye!